It started getting more on a professional level around that time. I got a call from a group named Blessed from down here.
I remember them. Yeah.
And we want to tell you, like, man, you're going to be working with Kevin Bond.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? That really ignited a fire in me because I actually had an opportunity to like talk with him. He would ask me like, you got any questions about anything, like anything you want to know? Yeah. So I asked him, you know, like, what do you do about it, man? And of course I hit my lows, you know, where I'm figuring like, I'm trying to think like, what's going on? What am I doing? What's happening?
Yeah. We always see the glory, you know, of everything. We see the end result. We see like the plaques on the wall.
Right.
You know what I mean? The awards and all of that stuff. But what have been some of those struggles?
Absolutely. Man, you know, my biggest thing was...
So you got a C3, then somebody traded you for a B3, and then it became a free 3.
From now on, that's what I'm going to call it. Hey, man, I'm going to get on my free 3.
Your free 3. What up, guys? You know who it is. It's your boy, John Mike, back again with the Hangout Podcast. You know what we do. And I got a special guest with me on today. You know, that shows how churchy I am when I say on tonight. I'm here with none other than Sean Keys, as they call him, producer of the year extraordinary. Y'all see all these billboards up here. This guy got BMI awards over there. He got NAACP Image Awards. This dude got awards just from everywhere. His middle name is probably Award. You know, how you feeling, man?
Man, great, man. Look, it's an honor to have you here with me, man. I appreciate it, bro. Like,
down here in NOLA.
And NOLA, man. You know where all the food good.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, y'all, there's two things y'all got down here. Y'all got good food and hot heat.
Right. Man, it is crazy hot down here.
Hot heat. Like I told you yesterday, like when I got in, I said, man, I got out that car and all I remember is I beheld Satan.
You saw him face to face.
I saw him face to face. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, this ain't it.
Right.
This ain't it. It's not just the heat, it's the humidity.
That's what makes it bad, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we below sea level. So everything here is just hot, man.
It's like a sauna.
It's like a sauna.
Yeah.
It's not that dry heat like Vegas, man. It's like just you standing outside for 5-10 minutes and you wringing wet.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just, hey, it's a way of life.
Yeah, hey, you just gotta do what you do. So we're here with my man. We're working on some things. Y'all will be seeing some of that later. But I always like to do these because we get to kind of see the story behind the glory, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because everybody has a story that we don't get a chance to hear. Because we see the awards, the billboards, we see all of that, but we often don't know the steps that it took to get there. I mean, because you've been producing for how long now?
Man, I started 99. Yeah, seriously, like in 99, man. Like, started in 99, and the crazy thing about it, bro, I didn't even know I was producing really.
Really?
You know, like people was asking my input on different stuff, and hey, what would you do here? Hey, you know, what would you? Hey, you know, in the studio sessions, like, oh, well, take the strings out right here, man, and this part needs to go like this, and sing this part like this, and
so you was producing before you knew this.
You know, my boys was like, hey, man, you know you producing, right?
Wow.
I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
And man, and from there I fell in love with it, man. I had a passion for it and didn't even know what I was doing.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
So walk us through that, man. What's the journey? What's the story like starting, were you born down here?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Born and raised in a place, Metairie, Louisiana, which is about, 15 minutes from New Orleans.
Okay.
Grew up in Kenner, Louisiana, which is right by the airport. So, when you touch down in New Orleans,
I saw that.
That's actually Kenner.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Kenner, Louisiana. I grew up listening to planes fly over my head all day, every day.
Wow.
So I don't even hear it now. But
wow.
But man, yeah, grew up, man. 5 years old, started playing keys at my godfather's church, which was like 3 blocks from the house.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because, man, God just gave me a gift at an early age. My mom and dad were real active in the church, and
Yeah.
you remember when saints used to run off programs
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Sunday
yeah, yeah,
morning.
yeah,
So
yeah.
my mom, one of my mom's tasks, one of her duties was to do that, and so she had a key to the church. So we would go over there, man, and man, I go in there, and she'll be back there running off, programs and stuff on the copy machine, and I'd be, up in the front playing on the drums and stuff.
Wow.
And so her and my dad started kind of realizing, man, this kid kind of gravitating towards music. So they buy me a drum set. When I tear that up, they buy me another one. Destructive little boy, right? All boys are destructive.
All boys are tore up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, right. So I tear that up, and they give me a better kit, and so. But it was one particular night. My mom always tell me she remember. She was back there in the office running off copies, and I moved over to the B3.
Okay.
And somebody at church had, shown me how to start it. Well, no, what happened was I used to sit behind the organ and watch.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to start it.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to try to start this thing myself. 5 years old, I'm taking the lid off, and all that. Enough to snap my fingers. So I learned how to, I started it, and then all of a sudden, I just kind of started playing little melodies. I wasn't playing like full fat chords. And my mom said she kind of stuck her head out the office like, man, this boy's playing like something. So she told my dad. So, I guess they waited a little bit to see if I was gonna stick with it. So they started buying me keyboards and stuff like that. And I never forget, my dad took me to Hall Piano Company in Metairie. And he bought me my first professional keyboard.
What was that?
It was a Korg X3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Yeah, it was a Korg X3, man. He bought me a amp to go with it, and a keyboard stand.
I had an X2 back in the day. The X2 Master Funk. That was my favorite patch.
Buddy,
They don't know about Master Funk.
They don't know about that.
Was like, it was a poly synth.
Yes.
With a synth brass.
Yeah, man.
The slap bass on there, split.
Yeah.
Had some strings layered underneath.
Absolutely.
It was your everything patch.
Everything. Yeah.
It was like
That's
you
what
got
used.
it's like the everything bagel you put it on. It's like the everything patch.
Absolutely.
You could pull that thing out and worship. You could pull it out in anything.
Yep.
That was it. Master Funk was the one, man. So yes, it started on that first keyboard and grew from there.
And grew from there, man. And it's like I started realizing that you could actually sequence on a keyboard. And I don't think that one had a sequencer on it, but I started getting to the music stores and kind of fooling with the stuff they had there. And so, as I got older and was going through school and stuff, I called myself starting me a choir.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Singing and stuff, and trying to be over the choir and all that. But it kind of worked out all together, because from there I was over the high school gospel choir. And then when I got to college, this guy that used to sing with John P. Key in New Life, he was from Hammond. I went to college at Southeastern in Hammond, Hammond, Louisiana. So he came home because he was going to start his own group. So he came home and did a workshop and did a live recording at the end of the week.
See, they don't know about that.
Right, they don't know about that.
That workshop. See, that's where all of us. It's a certain, when you say workshop.
Yeah.
See, cats don't understand by learning all those songs during the week, because we was gonna come in on Friday and do a concert.
Exactly.
Or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. So at that time, like I said, I had a group, and we were all kind of scattered. We were getting older. Everybody was going to school, so we were kind of like going our separate ways. But there was a few of us that were all kind of going to school together. So I said, hey, man, I'm going to go check out this workshop. And why don't y'all come? And by the end of the week, man, I don't know how it happened, but I wound up directing for the recording. I was directing the choir for the recording.
Wow.
So, started doing that. And the guy, his name is Lamont Jackson. He's a pastor in Hammond now. He actually made an announcement that he was gonna keep the choir going. So for those that wanted to be a part of it or whatever, it was real dope though, because man, like for the actual session that night, Michi was the MD.
Yeah.
Big Mike Robinson, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Played organ. It was Coon on drums, Calvin, Napper played drums, who actually has done records with me now.
Wow.
Calvin Napper was on drums, Maurice Fitzgerald on bass, and Eric Bryce played guitar. So it was basically John P. Key's band.
Man.
Yeah, they came and did the session, and we got a chance to hang out with them cats and stuff. And you know, Lamont said he was gonna keep the group going. So everybody was telling me, hey man, you know Sean plays. He plays too.
Yeah.
So man, I kind of fell in there, you know, being his B3 player, you know, running up and down the road, doing these shows and stuff with him. And they finally signed a deal to Ty Scott. And so, you know, I got my taste of actually doing my first recording with a group called the Jesus Gang.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a youth group that Ty Scott had signed back in like 96, man.
96.
Yeah, it was like 96. I'm telling my age now. But it was back in like 96, man. And they, you know, we drove up to Indianapolis and did the session, did the live recording, and we stayed for a few days and we did like all the overdubs and stuff. It was really cool. And so, you know, went through that whole ordeal and just kind of got a taste of what recording was like and stuff like that. So that was all kind of developing my love for what I was getting ready to get into. So yeah, so once he started, Lamont started recording their first project, you know, he was bringing me along through the process. So man, the whole time I'm starting to fall in love with this whole recording thing and producing and watching it all unfold. And, you know, went up to White Room Studios in Charlotte. To get the record mixed. So I'm sitting there, I'm sitting in the sessions while the guys mixing the record and stuff, and got to play, you know, because one of the songs they forgot to play organ on. I think Mike was playing aux, and he just didn't go back and play the organ parts. He's like, well, Sean, you want to get up on a B3? I'm like, sure. You know, so I actually got a chance to play on that, and so man, it's just like I'm starting to just get the fever for it. And so, you know, that went along, and they started working on the next record. And during the process of this whole group situation, Lamont would be writing songs, and he would come in. The band would get in to rehearsal first, and then the singers would come later. So he would come in and he would be like, hey man, I got this song. I need you to put some music to it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so that was the start of my composition phase in writing music. You know, so he was like, he would start singing this stuff to me, and I would come up with these, you know, the changes and the intro need to go like this, and then we could do this, and I would teach it to the band. And so, man, didn't even know I was composing and writing music and producing and all that. So
that's crazy.
So man, it was crazy, like a proving ground. I did that for about 10 years, and then the group kind of disbanded and started doing other things, and he started pastoring and stuff like that. But you know, that's kind of where I got my feet wet and got my love for it. Not even knowing, like I said, not even knowing what I was doing. And man, kind of from there, I started practicing on people in the neighborhood. You know, I'm producing. You know, so people coming through. You know, hey, let's work on a track and stuff like that. And I was working at Guitar Center. And I was the keyboard manager at Guitar Center, and it's crazy that I had the job for so long because I used to just sit down on the motif and make tracks all day long. Somebody will come in, I get up and help them, but then as soon as they out, I'm back over there. Yeah, but it was so crazy because like the store manager, he was really dope, man, because he didn't really stop me from doing that. He called the Yamaha rep and had him come down to check me out, and he was like, man, this guy is using this, you know, to sell your product. Wow. And man, I actually, from making tracks on the motif, I won a sales competition where I sold the most motifs in the Memphis region for Guitar Center.
Really?
Yeah, you know, and it was from me making tracks. So they actually were talking about, at one point, getting me to do some demos, because you know the motifs and the keyboards come with the demo sequences and stuff. And they were getting ready to kind of sign me up to do some of the demos for the keyboards for Yamaha, but that guy that was the regional rep at that time, he got a promotion. Wow! So that never happened. But That would have been kind of cool to hear my stuff, on the motif stuff. Like, oh, this is my track,
Wow.
But
that would have been crazy.
Yeah, man. So from there, it kind of turned into being more professional when I got around 99, 2000, 2001.
But 99, 2000.
Yeah, 99, 2000, Yeah, man, it started getting more on a professional level around that time. I got a call from a group named Blessed from down here.
I remember them. Yeah.
I got a call from them, man, and they were like, hey, we've been hearing a lot of good things about you, and you a homeboy, you from here.
Yeah.
We want you to work on our album. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. So, and we want to tell you, like, man, you're gonna be working with Kevin Bond.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, really? It's like, so Kevin Bond was doing most of their record, but they gave me the opportunity. I think I did like 4 on their on one of their projects, and he was doing the vocal production for those songs along with the songs he was doing for them. And that really ignited a fire in me because I actually had an opportunity to like talk with him.
Yeah.
And he was giving me some pointers on different things. Like, he would ask me like, you got any questions about anything? Like anything you want to know?
Wow. He's always been there.
I mean, he's just that guy.
Yeah. I'm excited to reveal something game-changing for us and for you as producers and musicians. I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. We've introduced standalone mode, allowing you to use it independently from any DAW. You can now blend up to 2 sounds to create rich and complex textures. We added in 2 brand new effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. The Lo-Fizer gives you instant lo-fi vibes with just a button, while the Mod Filter adds dynamic movement and flow to any sound you apply it to. And we also added the innovative new MIDI browser that provides you with hundreds of chord progressions, melodies, and drum loop MIDI files that you can drag straight into your DAW. And as a bonus, V2 now includes Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches. So as you can see, Peculiar Sounds V2 is not just an update, it's a revolutionary new plugin. So make sure you check the website right now and you can get your hands on this game-changing plugin.
When talking to him, he asked if there was anything that I wanted to, know, or anything he could help with. Yeah. So I asked him, like, what do you do about writer's block?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, man, I'm gonna give you something really practical and simple, and I'm telling you, it's effective. Mm-hmm. He said, when you sit in a certain spot for so long, your brain gets used to the things that it sees around you. Yeah. So get up and change your surroundings. Take your MIDI controller, take your laptop, your hard drive, and go in another section of the house or go somewhere else, go sit outside and create. And man, I'm telling you, that advice has helped me out to this day.
Wow.
I ran into like a little writer's block actually during Keyla's album. And one of the first song on the album, as a matter of fact, she sent me a voice note and I just could not get it. And I remember what Kevin told me. Wow. And I picked up my stuff and I went and sat in the living room and wrote the whole record.
Wow. I mean, there's something to that though, because I've been in that space before, like you said, and it's something to that knowledge of just doing that. Cause like I'll go sit out on my back deck sometimes or, get in the truck and just take a drive on the interstate.
Yeah.
And some of the best ideas, some of the best products, best things that I've done over the years have been out of the normal creative environment. So absolutely. I think there's some kind of merit to that. And I was just talking with D-Lo, like I was telling you about D-Lo last week. He's producing in his kitchen. Like now he's got a whole studio set up just like this, all ready to go. But he said that like he came in from the road off of a tour, off of a date, and he needed to knock out some stuff, and it's some stuff that he had been behind on. He's like, man, I've been trying to find the inspiration to do it. He said, and I sat down in the kitchen and I just set up my keyboard real quick to kind of, just knock something out real quick. And that one thing that I sat down and knock out ended up turning into the next 20 records. And he said, so I produced like James Fortune, I've done DeAndrea John. He said, I've done all of this stuff here in the kitchen. He said, I still got a full setup upstairs. He said, but when I get in there, it's like I'm distracted. I don't get no work done. He said, but then I'll go sit down here in the kitchen and it's like, everything just snaps in place.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy, bro. And the other thing I figured out on my own is, and you know, those of us that have drive like you and I have, and like people like D-Lo and other people, like, you never want to take a break because you feel like you're gonna fall behind.
Exactly.
But man, I'm gonna tell you, and my wife can tell you, it's been times I just took a week off.
Yeah.
I'm not touching anything. And man, when I get back, it's like, here come the ideas. Sometimes your brain just needs that break.
It needs a reset.
You know, it need a reset. And yeah, man. So that's when it kind of got serious for me. When Bless called me and we did some records together and everything. And I was like, wow, man, I can actually really do this. That was like my first time actually like signing a contract and getting money for doing production. And I'm like, wow, man.
And this was like what year? 2000?
Probably like the early 2000s. Yeah, like probably 2008 or 9.
Okay.
Is when that happened. But you know, I had been kind of practicing on people in the neighborhood and people from my church up to that point, you know. Yeah. So that's how I got into it, man. And from there, man, it kept going, man. And of course I hit my lows, you know, where I'm figuring like, I'm trying to think like what's going on, what am I doing, what's happening. I'm thinking I should be further along than I am. And, you know, God had to politely tap me on the shoulder and be like, bro, I got you just where I need you to be. Watch what I do.
Wow. And, so just kind of speak to that a little bit, because I think like, you know, it's always, we always see the glory, you know, of everything. We see the end result. We see like the plaques on the wall,
right?
You know what I mean? The awards and all of that stuff. But what have been some of those struggles, some of those things that you get? Because I think that opens up it just opens things up a whole lot more when you can understand how people process problems, how they process through you know, different areas of their life, and able to, you know, to still come out on top and, you know, win. So what has been some of those things that you said that you had to overcome?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, you know, my biggest thing was, you know, knowing that I was good enough for being overlooked. You know, that was like, you know, like a big thing for me, and it got next to me because, you know, I'm really a big-hearted kind of guy, you know, and everything I do. And I think, you know, we as creatives, we work out of our emotion. That's kind of how we are. We just, it's the type of people we are. And, you know, we put our feelings into everything. And the one thing people always tell you in this business, don't take your feelings out of it. You can't wear them on your sleeve. You know,
skin, all of that stuff.
Have thick skin, and rightfully so. But, you know, I think one of my biggest hurdles was just, you know, feeling like I was good enough, but I was being overlooked for the opportunities, you know. And, you know, people will try to put you, you know, in a place that they know you are, what you have been to them, and try to keep you there thinking that's all you are.
Wow.
You know, and not really letting you spread your wings and really show everything that you can be. And you know, had it not been for, you know, my wife and my family and my close friends, man, I really probably would have threw in the towel. You know, and of course God, I cannot forget, you know, him, because it was through prayer and everything that kind of got me back on track. You know, with it all. But, you know, just it's naturally speaking, you know, my wife and my friends and stuff, like my man, I never forget my friend Lim, who lives in LA. I called him at my lowest, bro. And I was like, man, bro, I'm about to get this up, bro. I don't understand like how, you know, I know God has placed a special gift inside of me to do this, and man, I just keep getting overlooked, man. And he told me, he said, Sean, you can't give up, because we all inspired by what you're doing.
Dang.
We looking at you and we're inspired by what you're doing. So, bro, you can't give up. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, you cannot give up, man. We looking at you like, man, you know. And right. And that clicked for me. And then my wife, you know, just telling me that, hey, you know, babe, stay in it. It's gonna shake in a minute. Just stay, keep doing what you're doing. You know, and I never forget the day it turned around for me, man. You know, it's I got a call. It's crazy how it actually happened, because it had nothing to do with a record that was gonna be replace that radio or nothing like that. But Uncle G called me, and he was like, "Hey man, I got a friend of mine, and we're doing a documentary on him, and he's a Mardi Gras Indian. For those that are from New Orleans, y'all know about that. They have different tribes that march during the parades. They get dressed all up in the suits, where they make the suits and they get dressed all up, and it's really a beautiful thing. And I said, we're doing a documentary on him, and man, we need a second line song.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I'm packing with my family to leave to go on a cruise.
Okay.
And I looked at my wife, and she was like, "You got time to do it? Try to knock it out." So I was like, "Okay, Uncle, I'll get it done." And man, I jumped in Logic and created a second line song and for the documentary, and he was like, "Man, do you know anybody that can kind of do some vocals on it and stuff?" So a friend of mine put me in touch with superstar from this area named Keyla Black.
Okay.
And so she kind of does the whole bounce hip hop rap kind of thing, but she does gospel bounce and all that stuff. So we linked up with her. She recorded it and sent it back to him, and he was just blown away about how fast I turned it around, how I was packing to go on vacation and I stopped to do it. And then he asked me, "Hey man, how much I owe you?" And I told him nothing.
Wow.
And he was totally blown away, not even knowing that God was opening a door for me to do things on a much larger scale. So
wow.
And he tells me to this day, he said, "Nephew, that's what sold me on you. You were professional. You turned it around fast. You stopped what you were doing, to do it, and then you didn't charge me anything for it." And I was like, wow, never. It was it was just being led by the Holy Spirit, honestly, because I couldn't have thought to do any of the things that I did. And so fast forward, maybe a year or two later, Sunday Best comes on, and there's this girl, Keyla Richardson.
Yeah.
She up there killing, and I watch the show I've watched the show from the beginning of the time. And she killing, and I'm like, man, she dope, and I'm thinking I'm like, man, she's actually, to me, she better than all the rest of them that are there. And so I'm watching, and my phone rings, like the episode that she got sent home.
Okay, yeah.
And my phone rings, and it's Uncle G, and I'm like, okay. And matter of fact, he texted me right now. What's up, Unc? I'm in the interview. He called me. He's like, "Hey nephew, wanna tell you something." I'm like, "What?" I signed Keyla.
Wow.
And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Man, I wanna get some music on her, man. And man, I gotta tell you, you just really impressed me by your work ethic and what you did and how you turned it around, man. I want you to work with her."
Wow.
And man, he came down. Keyla came down from Pensacola. He came down from Houston. He's from New Orleans, but of course he lives in Houston now. Came down, and we got in the studio, and the rest is history, man. It's crazy, and just like that.
Billboard hit after Billboard hit.
Yeah, and it's and it made me think back. And I know it was God putting it in my spirit, like, remember you was getting ready to give up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I told you I had you this whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man, to think about like that. Like you said, not giving up right at the point. You were right at the point where you was about to let it go.
Yeah.
And here comes the light at the end of the tunnel that says, "Don't do it now."
Right. Yeah.
And then you're able to you're literally right there. So it makes you think, like, and hopefully that's encouragement to anyone that might be feeling that same pressure. We've all been there. We all get there. I told you earlier, like, there's days I wake up and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like,
right. Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I've done this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this is going on, this is going on over here. How does all of this make sense?
Right, absolutely.
Like, where's what is the yellow brick road that I'm following?
Right.
Where's the Wizard of Oz?
Right, exactly, right.
Which character am I? Am I the monkey? Am I the scarecrow?
Right. right.
Am I the wicked witch of the west?
Which one?
Who am I in this story?
Yeah.
And how does it make sense? So man, that's crazy to think. And I love to get those perspectives, from everyone that we talk to, because, it's not all, this journey isn't all, especially as a creative, as a producer and being able to do this thing full time.
Absolutely.
Etch out a full-time career in it is not easy in music. And all of that stuff. And you've been able to, over the last decade or so, build a career in this.
Absolutely.
And have successes and work on some really iconic music and records with some iconic people.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing, bro. Like, just person after person. And man, it's crazy, man. God has allowed me to really be a part of a lot of people's firsts.
Wow. Yeah.
And I don't take that lightly. Of course, I would love to work with the iconic people, that I do. But man, it's like those first, like those people. This is my first record. This is my first single. Yeah. I want to get into the game, and I want you to, man. And it's like I've watched God take those instances and turn them into something special.
Wow.
Yeah. And man, I love it. Like a lot of people kind of shun away from, doing the indies thing, but man, I actually love it because I actually use it as an opportunity to educate as well.
You get to build with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Introducing the revolutionary plug-in for the 21st century, the ultimate solution to all your creative needs. Question: are you tired of hitting roadblocks in your creative process? I know I was. Do you yearn for sounds that would take your production to new heights? Well, I'm here to tell you, look no further. With my cutting-edge plug-in, your brain will be firing on all cylinders, unlocking a world of endless possibilities. Imagine effortlessly finding drum patterns with the perfect melodies, effortlessly creating live arrangements that leave a lasting impression on your audience. And let's not forget about this heartfelt chords that tug at the heartstring. This plugin is not just any ordinary tool. It's a game changer that will revolutionize your music production experience. With this intuitive interface and powerful features, it's like having a personal assistant dedicated to taking your music to the next level. Yeah, new heights. So I ask you today, are you ready to unlock your full creative potential? I know I am. So I say, don't settle for anything less than extraordinary. Get your hands on this plugin. It's the future, and watch your music soar to the new heights. The possibilities are limitless. I give you the world of juice by Keyla. Keyla got the juice, juice. Keyla got the juice, juice. Keyla got the juice, juice. Everybody get the juice. Everybody get the juice.
You never know what they're gonna become.
Absolutely.
When they're gonna be the next whoever.
Yes.
Who's gonna be the next insert name here.
Exactly.
So when you get to do that, and that's something to say. Like I've always said that as a piece of advice to anybody who's trying to get into the production, mixing game, into this, like you need to find, like, because most people say, if I can produce for that person, if I can produce for that person, if I can get in that circle, I'll be able to do X, Y, Z. I'll be able to show them how good I am and be able to get work. But like I told somebody the other day, I said the definition of a circle is a closed loop.
That's right.
Which means it's a loop. They go around that loop. They go around that circle.
Yep.
You deal with the people that are in that circle. Right. So what you need to do is build your own circle.
That's it.
Build your own. Find your crew, your people that you rock with, and rock with them and build with them. I got a circle. So when I need to get something done, when I got to get a record done, when I got to get something, whether it's if I'm not mixing it myself or if I am mixing it myself, I still got somebody that I'm using for mastering. I got somebody that I'm using for tuning vocals. You know what I mean? I got somebody that I'm using for bass, for guitar, for key. They get the call every time I get a call for a record. Yeah. And so that's because that's my circle that I built with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you build with that. You just never know. Like I said, somebody broke Jamel broke Todd Delaney.
Right, exactly.
But before Todd Delaney was the Todd Delaney, he was just Todd Delaney. He was just another name.
Bro, like, man, I'm glad you brought them up because I actually look at them as the blueprint of
exactly
how you as an independent artist link up with a producer and y'all make it together.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't, I just really wish that others would really grasp that concept. I mean, you can work with whoever you want to work with.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that. Yeah, you wanna do what you wanna do. That's fine, man. That's awesome. But man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they winning.
They winning. They found the sound that Todd found the sound in the producer that had the sound that he needed.
Right.
And they just, like you said, they just grinded it out and pounded it out. Yeah. And now everybody's trying to copy their sound. Yep. They didn't change. They didn't conform to what the industry wanted or what they thought. They just literally sat there and just kept doing them.
See, that's key, what you said too. And I always try to tell newer artists, like, don't try to create something that's already been created.
Reinvent the wheel.
Like, don't reinvent it. Like do your thing.
Yeah.
Develop your sound and let everybody else catch up to you. Yeah. Don't try to conform to what is hot right now and what everybody's doing because they got enough of that.
Yeah.
Like, create your own lane and let the people catch up with you. And especially if it's dope and it makes sense and is working. Rock with it, man. Be you. Be unapologetically you, and everybody else will catch up.
That's so good, man. That's so good. So as we move along the journey as to how you continue to build your career, what would, because not most people know you as a producer, but you're also prolific songwriter, and you got people that write songs with you, and that you got a whole crew. So what has that journey been like as a building as a songwriter, as well as how those things have been hand in glove with you?
Yeah, man, it's actually really dope that we're talking about this because, like, I want to dispel the biggest misconception that's out there. There are people that have told me coming up, and it was just because they wanted to keep me from what I was entitled to. It's like, if you write music, you're a songwriter.
That's good.
People don't understand that that's a facet of writing songs. People used to think that just lyric writers are songwriters, and that's not true, because go look at your PRO and see what's on there when you register a song.
That's good.
There's lyrics and there's composition, the music and the lyrics. So both of those things together make up a song.
That's so good.
Although I do write lyrics from time to time, but
most of your stuff has been from
composition. And God kind of showed me how to build my team where I could focus more on the composition and then get a group of writers around me that did lyric writing and just
you built your circle.
Build my circle. You like that, but yeah, man, it started with me as a kid, kind of like making up songs around the house.
Yeah.
Like my mom and dad said I used to, like, anytime something would happen, they would say something and I would start kind of making up a song about it. Wow. I gotta go clean up my room. And just silly stuff. Just being a kid or whatever, But from that, I would always find myself like making up songs, just about whatever was going on for the day.
Yeah.
And then once I started kind of playing and stuff more, I would actually hear, man, it's been times I would wake up out of my sleep and I would hear, like, something, and I have to quickly go, because if you don't do it at that point, it's gone. Right, it's gone. It's gone. So I would have to get up and so as a kid, man, I would sleep with my keyboard right next to my bed.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? And if I got something in, and this was before you could put voice notes in your phone and stuff, because these wasn't out. So, I would literally get up and try to record it in my keyboard.
Wow.
And so when I get back up the next morning, it would be there. But yeah, man, that's kind of how it started for me, man. And I was really big on listening to all types of music, and not just listening to it just as a consumer, but with the intent of studying it.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I got better at writing songs and the structure of songs. Like I would always listen to a song like, okay, this is the intro. Like what is gonna happen next? Oh, okay, this is a cool little part. Oh, this is a bridge. Okay, so I learned the structure, and I think that's what helped me turn into the songwriter that I am today.
That's good, man. So, what advice? Because I think this is a big thing that I think a lot of us as producers, as composers, arrangers, that we leave it on the table. Can you talk to the importance, or first of all, like just how? Because most of us, we're just used to, especially in gospel, we're horrible about publishing and the actual business of behind making the music, to where we're not educated enough. We just get in there and and I'm guilty of it. We just get in there, we just press record,
right,
and we just do it, and we put it out. DSPs and all that, they make everything so easy now, where it's literally, if you got an idea today, you can record it tomorrow and it could be out by Friday.
right.
It's just the way it is now. But so most people don't take the opportunity to understand the structure behind this whole thing, and how it really works, how they can really not just win with the one off getting paid to do that. How does that give me a little insight? If you can just do it for me, if it ain't for nobody else. Like, what is that like? How do you structure, like, how do you approach a situation when somebody calls you to produce or write, or how do you make sure that you're getting the most impact?
Absolutely. Well, let me start off with this saying that I've created. I always say, get the business straight, or the business will get you straight.
Ooh. Let's do it.
Get the business straight, or the business will get you straight. So when somebody calls me, and thank God for my wife, because so my wife has an MBA in business administration, right? Yeah, and she's really helped me to kind of get the business side of my production company straight. I'm like you. I just want to be about the music.
Yeah.
But she was like, honey, you need to put together contracts.
Yeah.
Put the stipulations in there as far as what you need to see happen.
Yeah.
Because and she didn't understand, it's us. Like, we the type of people, we want to play the gig. We ain't asking how much we're getting paid. Okay, I'm getting paid, so I'm just going to play the gig.
Yeah.
But she, from her business mindset, she's thinking, hey, okay, how much are you charging for this?
Yeah.
What because without any expectations, you can expect nothing. Because if you don't put in there. So when somebody calls me, generally what happens is, on my website, there's an email that they can email, and then go through. My wife had it set up at one point where it went through a questionnaire, even like a Google Docs. And like, what are you trying to do? What are your expectations, or what do you plan to achieve with this? Different things like that. So I can just get a feel for what the person wants to do. Then from that point, once we talk, then I send the contract over. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how much I'm going to require if I'm doing this. Do you I don't even go through, especially with the newbies, I'll go through, hey, do you know what a performance rights organization is? Do you have BMI or ASCAP? Do you write? Like, so if you do this, listen, I'm going to show you how to set up an account with the PRO, so that when this thing goes to streaming, or it gets played on radio from a reporting station, you'll get royalties from it. So, but it all started with my wife really like sitting me down, like, look, bruh, we got to get this side of it straight. And she, man, I really feel like she should have been an attorney. Because, man, she got it down pat. She knows where to find stuff at. She drew up my whole contract to the T herself.
Wow.
And we just, honestly, bro, we really just got on YouTube University and went for it and figured it out, bro.
That's where it's at, man. Man. And like, shout out to the wife, man. Like that. My wife is the same way. And like I said, the Bible says, a man that finds a wife, finds a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So when you can have someone that's that locked in step with you, that holds things down over here, or provides that space for you to be able to grow. It's not like she's literally upholding and pushing you up to
absolutely.
where you are. And
Absolutely.
that's rare to find in
Yes.
this day and time, especially us as creators. And we don't talk enough about that, about the importance of, it's not just about, our talent, our skill, I mean, what we do, but it's also about who we connect with.
Absolutely.
My dad he had a saying, he say, two things, he said, boy, two things you don't want in life. He said, one is a no good car, and the other one is a no good woman. He said they're both, he said they both cost you money and put you down.
Facts. All facts.
All facts. So when you can find a good wife, a good woman, a good person, to do life with, spouse or what have you, husband or wife or whatever, to do life with.
Yeah.
That's going to determine where your success is or your failure is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's not just as important about what you do or how talented or what your gift is or how creative you are, because all that could be sucked out of the window if you connect with the wrong person.
Yeah, man, I've always said, bro, if you connect with the wrong person, it can bring the good or the bad out of you. It can show you how great a person you could be, how much of a jerk you could be.
Oh, yeah.
That connection thing, bro, is so important, bro. And it's the same thing in the industry, relationships, bro. Like, people don't understand this thing is about relationships. And so that's why I don't understand some artists or some producers that say they don't like people. Like, how? Like, how in the world can you say that? This business is the people business.
Yeah.
Even the people you come in contact with that's gonna consume your record. It's people.
Yeah, it's and as I say this work business is literally 10% work and 90% dealing with people.
That's it.
Like, that's just dealing with people. Me and my customer service rep talk about this all the time. It's the making the products, creating the stuff, doing all of the things but we have to, on the other side of it, we have to deal with the people.
That's it.
And we always talk about that. So it's just amazing to keep going. So you always teach people to get a performance right.
Especially if they're writing their own music. And I try to teach them about that. I try to point them to a bunch of different instructional videos on how it works, how publishing works, how do you get published. Even I've started pointing artists to Sound Exchange.
Yeah.
That's a big reason. So even if you don't write, hey, guess what? There is something that has been created for you as the performing artist on this record.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I try to make sure that people are versed on, like, matter of fact, Danielle Stevens is a brand new artist.
Yeah.
She's doing amazing, man. She got out there at the Stellars and hustled and did some showcases and was hobnobbing around there, getting in the flow of things, and I started kind of talking to her just about the business, about how people may try to come to you and present you with something. They don't have a contract. They don't, and she actually, man, the greatest thing was she called me the other day. She's like, man, you taught me well. Somebody asked me to do a feature and they were trying to, ask me to do it. So I asked them, okay, so do you have the contract? How much is this going to be? Blah, blah. She said, you should have heard. It made me feel good because she was actually listening.
She was
listening, So yeah, I try to do that with everybody that's uneducated about it. Try to walk them through, hey, this is what's going to happen in this stage. Okay, we're writing this song together, so hey, guess what? I need you to get with a performance rights organization. I need you to do this so we can, I even walk them through how to register the song and all of that. And that's something that you get with me that you may not get with a lot of people. I'm with you from giddy up to whoa.
Yeah, it's just not
yeah.
I'm gonna use that. Yeah. I'm gonna use that. That's a good one. That's a good one. So yeah, you it's not just a check. It's not just a gig. It's literally like you put your space and your whole heart into it, and making sure that it's like it's a relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are I always like to ask people these questions, like what are some pieces of advice if you had to give, like, just give me 3 big shots of advice that you would give to up and coming producers, even people that are still in the game. Like what are those 3 important things to you that you would say are important to know, or you wish somebody would have told you 10 years ago?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is don't chase anyone else's sound. Create your own and trust your own sound and stay in your lane. Don't let anybody make you feel like you have to create records that sound like the records on the radio.
Wow. Okay.
And early in my career, I had someone that kept pushing me to, hey man, go listen to songs in the top 10 and you need to create something like that in order to get a record like that. And I'm thinking, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
You know, and but man, no, man, like stick to your sound. Make your sound your sound. Be good at being you.
Yeah.
You know, the second thing I would say is don't give up.
Yeah.
Like, do not give up, especially if you know there's something that God called you to do.
Yeah.
And you know, like, do not give up. Stick with it. Stay at it. No matter how crazy people think you are.
Yeah.
Man, if you stick with it and you really have faith and, you know, and just stick with it, it'll pop. It'll happen for you.
Yeah.
The third thing I would say is make Christ the center for real. Like cause let me tell you something, this business can chew you up and spit you out.
Wow.
You know, even in gospel, y'all, like we're not, you know, we're not like above being, it's still the industry.
Yeah, it's still
the music industry, no matter what, you know. So make sure Christ is the center and that's your focus for doing it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you feel like it's your gift. And that's pertaining to any music that you do. Just make sure Christ is your focus and your center of it all, because it's going to get hard out here. Yeah. And you're going to need to have somebody to lean on to get you through some stuff you ain't going to be able to understand when it comes to this business. So that's what I would say. Those are the three things.
Three main things.
Yeah.
Wow. So a couple more things I'm gonna leave you alone, man. We got to talk about this setup that you got.
Oh yeah.
This home setup.
Yeah, man.
You got everything kind of laid out now. Most people don't know you got a full on, which is what is it?
B3.
B3. You got a B3. Now what's the specs on the B3?
So, this is a 58, I think, B3. And I got a 147 Leslie.
Wow.
And man, it sounds great. It kicks. I know my neighbors hate me.
That's what I'm about to say. I know you said earlier. You said when you got a cut, you send the wife and them away.
Yeah. Like, y'all go to the mall or something. Here's some money. Y'all go to the mall.
Yeah.
Or either I'll do it during school time. I'll do it when the kids are at school.
Yeah.
My wife works from home, so she's in our office across the way. So I have to wait until she's not on any kind of conference call.
Yeah. To be in the middle of a call.
Right.
Right.
You know, so yeah, man. But I love it, man. Man, like I said, I was an organ kid coming up.
Yeah.
So for me to have one in my home, and my wife loves it, which was crazy because I don't want that big old thing. And then she saw it, she's like, "Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It matches the decor."
That's funny. That is so funny.
So yeah, man, she loves it. And my kids always like me to get on there and play, you know, every now and again. Like, you know, they like, hey, just play it, you know, especially my girls.
That's so cool.
But yeah, man, I got the B3. You know, I got a
you got
Fender,
actual, you got a 73?
Yeah, 73 Mark 1 Rhodes. I love it.
And you said you paid how much for it? I'm
let
me tell that story, Chief. Tell that story.
The church I was at formerly before where I am now, the sound engineer was like, "Hey man, we had it set up where my talkback, he could hear me in the booth, and he had a talkback to me in my ears, and like the band could hear him, you know, they could hear him, and I could hear him, and we would talk back and forth." So one Sunday, during the sermon, probably shouldn't have been talking, but anyway, he was like, "Hey man, you know anybody want a Rhodes?" Dang. And I'm like, he's like, "I'm trying to sell mine."
Dang.
And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Okay." So I said, "Hey bro, let's talk. Let's talk."
Yeah, let's talk.
So he came down from the booth. He's like, "Yeah man, I'm trying to sell my Rhodes, man." I was like, I said, "What kind of shape is it in?" He said, "Bro, honestly, all I need is a sustain pedal." He said, "I just don't have a sustain pedal. It's in great shape." I said, all right. So I didn't even ask him how much he wanted for it because I'm like, I know this dude about to say every bit of $1,500.
Yeah.
So I get over to the place and it was in his studio and I played it. I'm like, okay, it's cool. You know, maybe it needs a little work on the keys as far as, you know, just the action and stuff. But it's beautiful. It looks great.
Yeah.
And he was like, I still got the case for it and everything. Here's the case and all that, the top for it. I got the bag for the legs and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. I said, well, man, how much you want? He said, man, give me $400. And John, I tried not to look like, are you serious?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. Yeah, I can do that. all along inside of me, I'm like,
You
yeah.
screaming.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I would have been like, 4, man?
Right.
Would you take 250? What, 250
right
now,
I think he kind of knew what he had, but I think he just kind of took a liking to me.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, man, I'm gonna hook him
Yeah,
up.
hook him up.
And he was really trying to get rid of it. So he was like, man, $400, man, I'll let it
Dang.
go. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. And I had my at that time I still had an SUV.
Yeah.
And so I came up, let my seats down and gave him his 400, rolled
Took it
down,
home, took it home with you.
and got home and started playing it. Yeah, of course I had a little work I had to get done to it.
Yeah.
You know, with the electronics, just getting it all soldered and back
Yeah.
together. But man, since then I've been loving it. Every song, every record you hear with Rhodes on it, it's real Rhodes.
Wow.
It's that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Then you got the actual NS10.
Yes.
You ain't got the fake one.
Yeah, man.
You ain't got you got the actual NS10.
Hence the Crown Power Amp, you know, because I don't have the, So, man, those were gifted to me.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like, all my friends hate me for this because, like, everything, they always, matter of fact.
Next thing you're going to tell me you got this B3 for like.
Well, I did.
Yeah. You got the B3 free?
So, almost. So what happened with the B3?
Come on,
let me go back to the B3. When I tell you the blessings of the Lord is on my life.
Come on.
So let me tell you what happened with the B3. So honestly, I bought a B3. Oh, I'm sorry. I bought a C3 from a church that I played for. Actually, I still play for them.
That's right.
And it was, I did not know at the time, but the C3 was there during Katrina. It was their old organ that they had in the sanctuary, where the organ was sitting in their fellowship hall.
Okay.
And I used to always ask the pastor, what y'all gonna do with that C3 and Leslie? Like, man, I don't know. You want it?
Dang.
And man, he told me, I asked him, I said, well, Pastor, how much you want for it? He was like, make me off. I was like, wait, what? So he was like, make me off. And I think I paid $500.
Come on, man.
And I called a good friend of mine. Now, here's the thing, though. It wasn't this organ.
I know, yeah.
So I called a good friend of mine. His name's David Tarantolo. Everybody in New Orleans knows him. He's called the Organ Doctor.
Yeah.
And so when I got the organ to the studio that I used to be at out in Covington, Louisiana, I had him, because he actually came to the church and picked it up for me because I wanted him to do it a once over and look at it, and brought it over. He got it up and running for me. And he noticed that the Leslie didn't have a bottom rotor in it. He was like, man, this thing been sitting in water. This was actually in the church during the Katrina. I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So he said, look, I got another Leslie on the truck. Let me just bring it in here. We'll hook it up, get everything working. So, you know, playing it and stuff, and we couldn't get it to get loud. And so he's like, I don't know. So he took the back off. He started looking. He's like, let me take the preamp on with me and try to work on it. So he brought the preamp back. And he's like, okay, I got the preamp fixed, put it back in. It still wouldn't do anything. So at this point, the studio was closing, so we were moving stuff out. So he said, look, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna come back and get the organ and the Leslie, and I'm gonna bring it to the shop, and I'm gonna try to work on it. He said, in the meantime, I'm gonna bring you another one to your house that's sitting in the warehouse. And you can use that one until I get yours fixed. Okay, cool. So he comes and brings it. COVID breaks out 2 weeks later. So COVID breaks out 2 weeks later, and it's like, he was like, hey man, look, the church I had that was gonna get that organ, I don't know what happened to him. God bless you. Have a great day.
Wow, man, come on. So you got a C3
for $500.
that a C3 that, and then got a B, then somebody traded you for a B3, and then it became a free 3.
From now on, that's what I'm gonna call it. Hey man, I'm gonna get on my free 3.
Your free 3. God, man, that's so crazy.
And it's immaculate, bro. It's
beautiful.
in great shape, man. Like 0 scratches on it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and it sounds amazing. Like everything, you know, y'all heard with B3 on it, that's that.
That's so crazy, man. That's so nuts, man. So you build that. So what are your? I see you got a Planet Fat module.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah, man. I got the Planet Fat and the MoFat, and honestly, I only pulled them out when the record calls for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have them in the rack. I don't even have them on right now.
Yeah.
But man, every now and again, if I'm doing something urban-y or I want to go back to the 90s or something like that, or the early 2000s or wherever,
you grab them.
I grab them. You know,
Interesting.
And use them. Yeah. So yeah, you know, I still like, you know, I like the in the box stuff, but man,
every
now and again,
you gotta go grab something.
Yeah, go grab something like that.
So as far as like in the box, so you produce with mainly what, Logic?
Logic is where I start.
Okay.
I always start with Logic. I love Logic. It's just I don't know. I love creating in Logic.
Yeah.
I don't like to edit anything in Logic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I hate editing in Logic.
I definitely feel you.
Yeah. So my workflow kind of starts in Logic, created in there. I just like, it's so easy to grab your VSTs in there and stuff and do stuff in there. And then from there, when I'm ready to go from MIDI to audio, I'll bounce them down, go over into Pro Tools, because usually at that point I'm getting ready to go to Gumbo with Reggie and track, or you know, the artist is coming in and we're going to Gumbo to track or whatever, or we you know, we got the band coming in or whatever. Yeah. So that's that's usually my process: Logic to Pro Tools.
Got it. And what are some of your top favorite plugins that you like to use on records?
Of course, you know, all of the gospel producers. But no, seriously, loop elements. You know, the doobie stuff. Curious Sounds is crazy, bro. Like literally, like I can hear stuff that I want to do instantly, just pulling up sounds and starting to play them. That I'm big on the contact stuff with you know, the virtual, not the virtual, the Native Instruments stuff.
Yeah, Native Instruments.
Yeah, like their stuff is dynamite. Spectrasonics is amazing. Atmosphere and Keyscape, I love y'all.
Yeah.
I use them live in church. So that, you know, that's some of my go-to ones. Like the Pure Scent Platinum. Jamal. I like gospel musicians. So I use that a lot. So that's probably my top ones that I go to.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man. I always got to ask those questions, man. Like I'm always curious about what people are using and why they're using it. All those things like that. What Mac you got?
I actually still have a trash can.
Really?
Yeah, I got a trash can, but
2013.
But I bought it after 2013, and I got it
like $200.
No, actually, no, not that. No, I paid for that. Trust me. No, I paid full price for that, Jack. No, but seriously though, I got it kind of blown up too. Like I bought it from the website where you can kind of build customize it. So I went out, because I used to work on an iMac and it just wasn't working, man. It just, you know, for what I was doing, it was crashing. It was too, you know, my sessions were too big, you know, stuff like that. So I got a Mac Pro trash can. Hopefully the wife will let me get the Mac Studio.
That's next on my list.
Right, I gotta get that. Yeah, that thing is serious, man. So hopefully I'll be getting that pretty soon. But the trash can's been working great. I love it.
Dope, man. Well, man, I appreciate you allowing us into your space, man. To
appreciate you more.
Just, you know, have a conversation and talk. We got some session breakdowns from this man coming. If you haven't seen them yet, that means they're not available. If you have seen them and you're just seeing the podcast, then we probably got some more coming. Whatever the case may be, go check those out if you haven't checked them out yet. It's going to be some good stuff, or is some good stuff depending on when it drops and all those good things like that. But this is what we do. We like to hang out. There's going to be more of these. This is what we do. So make sure you check these out. Check out Gospel Producers, all those things like that. Check out Sean Keys if they want to book you, if they want to get with you. How do they connect with you, man?
Absolutely. So my website is iamseankeys.com. You can check me out there. You can check me out on social media. Instagram is probably my main platform, but I'm on all of them.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I am the smoothest. Let me spell it for you. DASMOOTHEST. It's a nickname. Like coming up, they call me Smooth. So I figured that'd be fitting. So the smoothest on Instagram. Everything else is Sean Keys.
Got it. Well, you guys make sure y'all connect with him. Make sure you connect with us. We'll talk to you guys on the next one of these. And we out. Peace. Yo, thank you for watching that exclusive clip from the Hangout Podcast. If you're interested in seeing more of these exclusive interviews that we have, make sure you check out the playlist over here. If you're interested in taking your production, mixing, or whatever to the next level, make sure you hit the links down below in the description. All right, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.